In this video, I'm going to show you step-by-step instructions on how to replace the front screen on the iPad Air 13-inch. Important things to decide. The camera is up here alongside the front sensors. I literally posted a video last week of the iPad Pro 13-inch, which is the same. I've got a Pro 11-inch M4 that has the camera there as well. It's irritating when you're trying to do Face ID. Anyway, this is not a review of the iPad. I think removing the screen is going to be quite straightforward. And you might be thinking, well, there's no damage on this screen. I know that this iPad has been in the bath. I don't know why people take their iPad in the bath. Or maybe I do know, because they like to watch crap in the bath. But anyway, run a bead of alcohol along 3 edges, top, bottom, and right-hand edge. Right-hand edge is the edge with the camera. And then I'm going to use my big blue suction cup and I'm going to stick it on there. I'd be a bit closer on an ideal day, but the screen protector's in the way a little bit. Actually, I'm going to go a bit further up, so I'm right up close to the edge, and then I'm going to lift. We're just lifting nice and gently. It should eventually, there we go. See that it's started to create a gap? That's exactly what I was looking for. Just what we need. I'm just going to be careful around here. I always guess that there's going to be some light sensors kicking about. There's going to be a proximity sensor around here. I'm just using a very thin piece of like plastic card. I call it plastic card. It's not card, it's plastic. Card's usually cardboard. And yeah, we're just going to work our way along this right hand edge first of all. Other newer models of iPad, what I'm finding, the adhesive is slightly different. More similar to iPhone adhesive than Tessa tape, which is interesting to some people. What I'm doing, and I'm working around as well, look, I'm just chopping off the adhesive. I've moved the suction cup a little bit just to help me along. And I'm also, like, getting it bigger that I don't want to, it's already kind of broken. I don't think there's any repair in this one. But still, we will be cautious, because we don't want to break anything else. I'm not just going to rip it off. But look, we've got, now that that edge is took up to there, I'm going to leave that side now. And then I'm going to go back up to the top, because I'll do the same on this top edge. I'll work my way around. Get it all off. Just that corner where it's really hard to lift it. But once I've got round that corner, it seems fairly easy. Yeah, look. So now that we've got the top edge up here, right hand edge, bottom edge detached, I'm just going to sort of, I think we'll, yeah, look, let me just show you. That's that cable we've got to be aware of. So don't lift that too high. And then let's run some alcohol down that edge and see how we can do it. Like, usually I'll just pull that way and it'll come away, but it seems to be taking a bit more than just to pull it that direction. I think, there we go. I just needed to follow it round on that corner. Once I'd sort of compromised the adhesive there, it's come apart easy. And now the screen is just about separated. Right, so we've got the screen lifted now. What I'm not gonna lift it up miles high, because, like I say, we've got a booby trap cable just here. To avoid the booby trap, right, by the way, I didn't even tell you. I think everybody knows this by now, right? But when I'm doing one of these repairs, right, I'm on a hot plate. That's why it's nice and easy to remove the screen. Sorry if I've not told you this in advance. I'm on a hot plate. It softens the adhesive and makes it easy to remove the screen. So now that we've got the screen lifted from the device, I'm going to just turn it slightly to the left, just like that. And it's going to reveal this little screw just here. It is just a crosshead screw, so just go ahead and remove it with a small crosshead screwdriver. So I'll lift it up with the tweezers, if you can. And then this little cable here needs disconnecting, so that's that one there. Get it out of the way. And what that's going to allow us to do now is just be able to open up this screen like that. And you can see it's sort of, there's a good bit of length on that cable. We can fold the screen over on itself and it's secure like that. You don't have to prop it up or anything. It's easy. whilst we're inside here, we've got a battery connector just there, and then we've got this shield here. As I said previously, this screen has been the victim of liquid damage. It's got in here, look. It's probably got in other places as well. That's why the screen doesn't work anymore. First thing we're going to do is isolate power from the device. To do that, you have to remove that screw there. That's the battery connector itself. And then we're going to shuffle the screen back a little bit. And then I'm just going to poke that little bit of plastic that we used earlier between the battery and the battery connector. And that's going to isolate power from the device. I know that the device is working and it's on because it makes sound when we plug it in. But there is no picture on the screen. That's because that screen is fried. These screws aren't particularly magnetic either, so just be aware of that. But once those 4 screws there are removed, we can lift up the shield and get it out of the way. And then the connectors look the same as any iPad Pro, really. I know it's an Air, but they look the same as the Pro. And yeah, you just have to take them off with the plastic spudger. Just be careful when using a plastic spudger. On this one, obviously I'm inspecting to make sure that the water damage hasn't spread. It looks like with most iPads, when they get some water in it, the first thing that it gets to is the screen. Usually the backlight, because there's a lot of power what runs into that backlight circuit. Screens themselves are fairly low voltage, but the backlight is usually the thing what consumes a lot of electricity. And you can see with the very crusty stuff that it is what has broken. We could try and clean this out, but I think we'd be wasting our time from experience. We could try and order a replacement backlight, but again, we're going to be waiting weeks for something like that, whereas the customer wants it doing as soon as possible. So it is a screen replacement on this one. So I've now moved over to the workbench where I'm going to use a number 17 X-Acto blade, and I'm going to clean up this frame. So I'm just going along the edges, and you see the bits where there's black adhesive sticking around, scraping it off to make it nice and clean so that our new screen will stick onto the frame the best way possible. I apologise for any background noise. Our neighbours always decide to make as much noise as possible as soon as I press the record button on my camera. So now that we've got the thick of the adhesive removed, I'm going to go ahead and try and get a little bit of acetone onto this cotton bud, and then I'm just going to run it along the edges of the iPad. And that's just removing any last bits of adhesive, just cleaning it up real nice. Actually, I've missed this bottom edge entirely, look. What a total plonker. The more clean that it is on this surface, the reality of it is that the more surface area there is to stick to, which is clean, then the better the adhesive is going to stick. I've seen no end of times where an iPad screen has been replaced, they've used some glue or they've not cleaned it up properly and it just doesn't stick properly. So when I say it's very important to clean up the iPad, it is very important, take my word for it. I've not actually looked at the new part yet, so this is going to be the next stage. So these screens come in 2 different versions. You get a Air 13 for Wi-Fi and cellular, or you get the Air 13 for Wi-Fi only. And yeah, this one is the Wi-Fi and cellular version because that's the version of the iPad that I've got. We bought this from our friends at Mobile Centrics. I'll leave a link for the part in the description below where you can buy those. And if you're using Mobile Centrics in the UK, the shipping cut-off is all the way at 7:45 at night. So yeah, if you're ordering from them, you can get next day shipping up to 7:45. Right, I'm just going to remove all these plastic films from the back of it. And then what you'll notice when we look at this screen, I'm going to get the old screen, look. And there is some connectors here, look. They need a cable on them. And then up here as well, we need to attach that cable that was missing. Also, just while I'm on the subject, this one is a refurbished one. The little foam bits are missing from it, but that's okay. It's non-essential. What you want to be looking at on these really is, do all the holes line up? So I'm talking about these holes here, because that's going to be the difference when you look at these between the Wi-Fi and the cellular version. do these holes line up, just these ones here, because that's where the light shines through. So that's going to be the difference, and it usually is the difference on most iPads. Anyway, moving on. Let's get the old screen first, and we're going to remove this top flex, or side flex we'll call it on this model. I'm going to add a little drop of isopropyl alcohol just underneath that flex cable just there. And then I'm going to use the number 17 X-Acto blade, and I'm going to get right underneath, first of all, that sensor, then this microphone here, and then I'm just going to run it along so that we're separating this cable from the screen. And then it should peel away now that we've got a bit of alcohol under the adhesive. It should come up real nice like that. And all being well, it's took most of the adhesive with it, looks. Once that alcohol, what's on there, evaporates, we'll just be able to stick it straight back onto our other screen. Another thing that I noticed is that it doesn't have this little camera block, guide block thing. So I'm going to move that over as well. And then also, first time I've ever noticed this, but the adhesive, what was on it, had some adhesive for these magnets. Now these magnets are quite important for when the owners of these devices have a case on it. Excuse the banging again, as I just said before. We've got noisy neighbours. Remove those magnets because, like I say, they work with cases. And then finally, we need a crosshead screwdriver, and we're going to remove these two screws that hold this cable down for the LCD and backlight. Lift up the shield and bish, bosh, bash, remove those two connectors. This cable, what we've got here, it's actually stuck to the back of the screen as well. So just be careful when you lift it up. It's got a little bit of adhesive on it. And it's stuck to the touch cables as well. So that's the touch cable, and then you've got the LCD cable, which we've just removed. Let's get our new screen. We'll discard the old screen. Well, I'm not going to discard the old screen because I just feel like maybe one day somebody might be able to fix it. So I'll just leave it in the trash pile for a long time until it gets broken beyond repair, and then we'll chuck it in the bin. Does anybody else do that? We're working on this part first. We're going to go in the same order as we took it apart. So I'm going to move the touch connectors out of the way. Then I'm going to offer up our LCD connectors, and we're just going to line them up. Is it Jerry Rig Everything who calls them Lego pieces? Legos, like little tiny Legos. Anyway, connect up the Legos. Fold over. Can you see? Folding this cable. Let's bring it into shot. This cable's really long. I said that at the beginning, didn't I? Some rate length on it. Right. We'll go back with this little shield. Put this on like that. Secure the screws. And so, like I was saying, this is the first time that I've seen little bits of adhesive, look, on the tester tape for the magnets. So stick on magnet there. Then stick on magnet just here. And that means that we've now got room. Oh, look. Make sure you remove these films because that's going to mess things up. Get those films out of the way. We've got the camera block thing. Hopefully this is going to stick straight away. If it doesn't, we'll have to find something to help it along. But it looks like the adhesive's held. And then the adhesive, the alcohol that was set on this little bit of cable here will have now evaporated, meaning that we can stick the microphone down and the rest of the cable should follow position wise over the top of it, just like that. It's not going to fall off, it's going to be stuck down enough. If you wanted to, you could put a bit of capped on tape over there just to help it stick down, but generally once these are stuck they will not move, and they've got a little place where they hold on to anyway. Now let's zoom out. You know what, this iPad, everything sticks to it. Look, I've got 5p that were on the desk. Make sure your work area is clear. Don't put razor blades around, or don't give this iPad back to a child with a razor blade stuck to the magnets. And you might think, oh, that's a very creative thought, but it's not. It's something that I've never ever done. I promise. Anyway, moving on. Connect the Legos. I'm not going to stop saying that on every video, don't worry. But yeah, we're just gonna, the easiest way to do these is sort of hold them over roughly where they're going to sit, and then you're going to be able to slide and manipulate them around a little bit until you can press down and get it into place. This one's been awkward, but there we go, it's gone in. So that's 4 cables all connected. There's one more to connect, obviously, up here. All 4 of these screws are the same size. All small little screws that hold this shield down here. Obviously, it'd be a good idea to test this, make sure it works before putting it all back together. But like I do with most videos, I'm just going to carry on with the repair and deal with any problems later, just for the sake of keeping things moving forwards. Now, remove the little plastic isolating block thing that we put there, and then we're going to take a screw, reconnect the battery. I don't think I've ever seen an iPad what's got so many things stuck to it while I've been working on it. Either my desk's too messy, or there's a lot of things to stick to. Let's I don't even know if it's got any battery in this. Oh, it has. We've got an Apple logo. That's promising. While that's turning on, say what you want. I have never ever in all my life had a problem. Oh, there we go, it's working. When lining up this cable, so you can line up the cable. I'm on about while it's on. You can install that cable, is what I'm saying. It's how you do it. You'll have to restart it if you want the Face ID to work straight away. Now, one thing that I've just noticed as soon as I've turned it on, it's asking me to put it into diagnostic mode and finish the repair. Now, this screen is a refurbished screen, so I'm hoping that it will allow us to do it, but it's not the original touch panel. I guess it's an aftermarket touch panel. Tap to configure your new display for this iPad. So similar to how the phones work. I'm going to turn it off. I'm not going to stick it down yet. Because I forgot all about the new finish your repair and all that sort of crap. I'm pressing and holding up volume, down volume at the same time now that it's turned off. I'm pressing them both, and then I've plugged it into a power delivery cable, a PD cable. It has to be a PD cable for this to work. And then what we should get is an Apple logo. Once you get the Apple logo, I'm going to release, and then all being well, it goes into diagnostic mode. Right, so we're in diagnostic mode, and it allows us here to continue. I just have to connect it to our Wi-Fi network, which I'll do real quick. As I said before, this is a refurbished display. I'm not sure what it's going to say when we finish the repair, but it recognised that a new screen had been attached. It's important to note as well that if I wanted a genuine one, I could have bought one from Mobile Centrics, but the cost was a little bit higher. Look, it's recognised this as a genuine part, which means we should be able to configure it as well, which is great news. And yeah, that's all done. It'll restart. Whilst that's restarting, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn the iPad on its side. And let's see if we can do this all at the same time. And I'm just going to peel off the back sheet of the adhesive on all 4 of the edges. I don't know if you'll see this. See what I mean about razor blades stuck to the back of our iPad? It's really dangerous, these magnets. So just, honestly, don't give a kid a razor blade on an iPad. Remove all these. And then, yeah, we just got this one last side. You know what? I'm going to stick that other side down while I'm messing about with this. Stick that down like that. And then we just got that last bit of peel to peel. And I'm just going to apply gentle pressure all the way around the iPad. Make sure that it's sat nice and flush. That's sort of the most important part at this point. Just making sure that everything fits and sits real nice. See this bit, magnet look, slightly out of line. Can you see how it's slightly raised there? Right, if I'd have squeezed that, I'd have broke something. It just needs nudging into place. Oh, it's gone in. I think it needed nudging into place. It's gone in there. The device is charging. I'll probably get the customer's passcode for this one because we'll make sure that it's all working. Otherwise, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.